Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. This is scenario B3, or we're on the basic level, or the first level of the entire campaign, over at the Glass Pavilion with the character Damiel, who is a male elf alchemist. So at the Glass Pavilion at this location, at the start of your turn, examine the top card of your location deck. Alright, so that's where we're at. Damiel is all set. Damiel has been forgetting to use this power where you may recharge a card to add 1d6 to your check that invokes the acid or poison trait. So last scenario he had the ability to use this power, so he'll have to be mindful of that. Alright, advancing the blessings deck. It's a blessing of the ancients. We have to examine the top card. So we examine, and now we can explore and find the Find Traps spell. So it says to acquire this card, it's a Wisdom or Divine 6. Well, Damiel just has a Wisdom of D6, so let's go ahead and roll. Alright, so we rolled a 4. Damiel does have a Feather of Matt. He decided to keep that card from last scenario, but that would just give him a +1. So as it is, the Find Traps spell is banished. Damiel does not acquire it. Looking at his hand, he likes his hand. So advancing the Blessings deck, we get a Curse of Poisoning. So Damiel is cursed. Let's see, he has a Scarab Buckler in his hand. Is that going to help him out with this curse? No, it's not. Okay, so these curses are around. They're real. Examining the card, since we're at the Glass Pavilion, and we get the baited jewel box. When you examine this card, shuffle a weapon, an armor, or an item into your location deck. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and choose an item. So from this giant stack of items, we're going to roll a d30. We're going to put in the 21st item. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1. Okay. So that mystery item, we are shuffling it into the location deck. So then it says, the difficulty to defeat is increased by the scenario's adventure deck number. So that will be a 0, since this is the basic level. So then it says, if defeated, okay, well we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So we want to do a disable check. Damiel, his disable is D10. Assembling my dice, D10 +1. Okay, it's going to be a straight up disable check. Do we want to do anything? It has it has the poison trait. Check that out. Time to use this ability. This power. You may recharge a card to add 1d6 to your check that invokes the acid or poison trait. If your card has the alchemical trait, you may add another 1d6. Well, unfortunately, oh, you know what? This card has the alchemical trait. Wow, that is so cool. We're going to recharge that, and then, excuse me. All right, wow, pretty cool. He could have done that last adventure, I believe. D10 plus 2d6 plus 1 to this check. Let's see what we get here. So we get a 4, a 6, and a 4. So 15 total. We only needed a 6. If defeated by 4 or more, draw an item from the box. Sweet. Man. Very cool. Alright, well we were successful there. That Bane is banished, and we get to draw an item from the box. Pretty cool. Giant stack of items. Rolling a d30. The 21st one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1. Boom. And in there was an acid flask. Okay, not too shabby. Damiel likes his hand, but he has to go ahead and roll for the Curse of Poisoning now. 4, so really sucks. Blessing of the Ancients gets recharged. That's gonna hurt. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessed of Abdar. And examining this card, it's a Blessing of Ra. Strength Melee 8 or Divine 6. Damiel has a D4 with Strength, and he has a D4 with Divine. So that, either way, no matter how you roll it, it's going to be an auto fail. Kind of sad. Blessing of Ra over there in the sunset. We're going to reset Damiel's hand. We're going to roll for Curse of Poisoning. Rolling a 6, got to re-roll. Damiel just has a hand size of 3. The Acid Flask gets recharged. Damiel is just dealing with curses constantly. Examining this card, we examine it. It's a hyena with a trigger trait. When you examine this card, you are dealt 2 combat damage, then encounter this card. Well, that really sucks because Damiel does not have any armor in his hand. We will go ahead and we'll lose the Feather of the Mat, and we will lose a torch. So those 2 go in his discard pile. Damiel has a blowgun. For your combat check, reveal this card to use your dexterity, ranged, or stealth skill plus 1d4. We're going to reveal that, and we're going to use our buddy the Shock Lizard, who we picked up from, I think it was last scenario. We're going to add 1d4 to our combat check. So assembling our dice, dexterity or range is d10. We get the d4 for that check. We're just revealing this card. And we get another d4 thanks to the Shock Lizard. So our range skill has a buff of +2. So we rolled an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and a 4, 16, 17, 18. Okay. We dealt with the hyena, but he did slash at us for that 2 points of damage. Alright, resetting Damiel's hand, rolling for the Curse of Poisoning, a 5. Okay, he has to recharge his Tussa Silk Cloak. That kind of stinks. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Blessing of the Ancients. Examining this card, it's the Find Traps spell again. And once again, this is an auto fail. I mean, Damiel does have a Blessing of the Elements in his hand, but I don't want to use it on Find Traps. So there's that. Advancing the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of the Elements. Examining this card. Okay, we examine, and now we encounter the villain of this scenario. Trapped Sarcophagus. When you examine this card, succeed at a Perception 9 check, or you are dealt 1d4 electricity damage. Well, unfortunately, Damiel has a perception of d4. He could use the Blessing of the Ancients, but that would just mean he would get an 8 total. So we have to take 1d4 electricity damage. Let's see what happens. And we take 3 points of electricity damage. So we are going to lose the blowgun, Acid Flask, and a Daba. But we still held on to that Blessing of the Elements. And since a Blessing of the Elements is showing in the discard pile, we can recharge that to add a die on our check. Oh, actually, you know what? Oh, sweet, it has the electricity trait. Because we can only recharge it if it has an elemental trait. Okay, so sweet. We recharge that. And this is going to be either a Dexterity, Acrobatics, Disable, or Intelligence check. We're going to go ahead and choose the Disable, because that will give Damiel a D10 plus 1. And with the Blessing of the Blessing of the Elements, we get another D10. And that's it. Okay, 2d10 plus 1. Let's see what we get. Alright, so we get a 9 and a 5. It's 14 plus 1 is 15. And we defeated the Trapped Sarcophagus. Even while we had like that Curse of Poisoning. Alright, so pretty exciting. There are technical difficulties there. Let's go ahead and do a deck check. The location is closed. Alright, Damiel is just doing really well. Flying right by with all of these scenarios. There's that Curse of Poisoning. There he is. And let's do his deck check. Alright, so we got his ally, his item. We got the weapon here for him. He kept the Feather Mat. He's got his basic weapons there. Alright. Armor, shock loaded. I'll go ahead and just put the allies in the middle from now on, because he does not have he does not have spells. This is really cool. That actually really helped him out. And I'm really excited that it has the alchemical trait. Damiel will be keeping that for the entire campaign now, and he kept the Ghost of Battling Ring because it was just so cool. Alright, so the reward for the scenario was actually a skill feat. So let's go ahead and zoom in on Damiel's card here. Sweet, a little more. Hey, see, it always blurs at that close. Okay, we'll keep right there. Alright, Damiel, let's look at his skill feats. So I wonder what skill do we want. His dexterity is pretty awesome. His constitution's cool. Intelligence, those are his 3 highest stats. So he probably should just focus on that. Strength is going to be a problem this whole campaign. Wisdom's going to be a problem. Charisma. So really tough. I think what we'll do, I think we'll just start maxing out his intelligence. That seems to be really a strength of his. So we'll go ahead and add to his intelligence. Give him a +1 buff on that skill. Also, the reward for this scenario was this loot item, the Game of the Afterlife. And I think this is going to be really cool. Bury this card to banish a displayed card that has the curse trait. Well, so far Damiel's been really hit hard by curses. I mean, I think he really needs to hold on to this item. When you would fail a check, bury this card to reroll 1 die. Take the new result, like that. After playing this card, you may succeed at an intelligence 8 check to recharge it instead of burying it. And that's really cool. So I'm really glad that we did buff up his intelligence, because I think that's going to serve him very well this entire campaign. Just for fun, we'll go ahead and go to a trader. I mean, Damiel doesn't really want to get rid of any of his things, but Falsine Deek, you know, maybe he's got like that. I like cards that modify die rolls. So we're gonna keep the Game of the Afterlife. We're gonna get rid of the Ghost of Battling Ring to make room in our deck for that. And let's go ahead and randomly determine what items Falsine Deek has for us. 24, 1, 2, 3. I'll just kind of go down here like that. Okay, so he's got Seer's Tea and the Ring of the Godless. Wow, that's really intriguing. Ring of the Godless. During your encounter, recharge this card to gain the skill Divine Wisdom +2. Well, Damiel's Wisdom is only, what, a D6, I think? Characters may not play blessings that have the Divine trait. Recharge this card to add the magic trait to your check. It'd be kind of cool if he had, like, I can see where that'd be interesting in, like, acquiring spells. That might help him out. Seer's Tea, it doesn't have, it's liquid. If it had the alchemical trait, I think Damiel would be interested in that. Banish this card to examine the top 3 cards of your location deck. See, that'd be cool. If only it had the alchemical trait, then I would definitely get that for Damiel. But as it is, we thank Falsine Deek. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. But we're just going to keep our Game of the Afterlife and chuck this Ghost of Battling Ring to make room for that in the deck. And we are done with this scenario. Alright, really exciting scenario. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I sure did. And I will have another scenario up shortly. Thank you.